Okay, so we're going to look at some of the notation that we use in sets. This is often maybe the few things that people find kind of difficult, and unfortunately, I suppose we're going to talk through the meaning and the definition of a lot of these symbols, but really you kind of have to learn it off to some extent also. It's kind of the only way that we're going to remember it. So we'll talk through, we'll kind of try and keep this short if we can. We'll talk through it, we'll do a few of the questions then that follow from it. So the first symbol that we're going to follow is to do with the word element. And what we said was that an element of a set is an object or a thing that is found within a set. So when we're describing the set, like the days of the week, the elements of that would be the things that are in that set. So that would be the days of the week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on and so forth. And we have two symbols that are related to the word element. The first symbol here is just a kind of E symbol, and that just means it is an element of the set. And the way that I would write that out is given over on the left hand side here. So for example, the number 2 is an element of 2, 4, 6, 8, the set 2, 4, 6, 8. So it is an element because it is in there. Okay, so I suppose our definition here nearly serving our kind of, that's really what we're saying. That's what we're saying to ourselves as we're looking at it. The other symbol is the same E but with a line through it this time, and that just means is not an element of. Okay, is not an element of. So we can see the example over on the right. 3 is not an element of 2, 4, 6, 8. So straightforward enough. Our next symbol is a hashtag symbol, and what that one means, or the word it's kind of, I suppose, referring to, is it's called the cardinal number, and the cardinal number is the number of elements in a set. So that symbol we would see in front of the name of the set, like over here, cardinal number, hashtag of A, cardinal number of A, and the answer there being 5. And notice that there's no brackets around the 5 there, because 5 is not an element. It is the number of elements that are in the set. There are 5 of them. The next symbol is an equals symbol. Fairly straightforward. It's the same understanding we would have. Two sets are equal to each other. They're equal sets. Two sets are equal if they're the same, if they have the same elements. So that might be, let me think, what could we say as two equal sets? Well, we have the two examples there, 1, 4, 5, 9 and 4, 1, 9, 5. I've only changed the order, but the two sets still are equal to each other. So really, yeah, I suppose that's the best example, really. The days of the week, if somebody writes the days of the week starting with Monday or starting with Sunday, it's still the days of the week, so they're equal. The next one, which we do see quite a bit, is called the null set or the empty set, and we actually have two symbols for this. So the first symbol is kind of the O with the line through it, and the second is just the two brackets but with nothing written inside it. And the null set is just the set that has no elements, so it's empty. It's an empty set. So if the set was, for example, the set of people that are above 6 meters in height, that would be an empty set. There would be nobody in that set. Okay, just important to note that it is not, for example, this, the two brackets with an O in front of it. That is not the empty set, because that set actually has an element, and the element is 0. Okay, so just to kind of be aware of the difference between the two there. I'm not going to go into subset yet because I'm going to do a separate video on that. So we're going to focus primarily on those first 4 symbols. So our symbol for element, our symbol for cardinal number, our symbol for equal sets, and then our symbol for the null set. So let's just get into some of the practice questions here on just working with those symbols. As I said, and as I said for the last video as well, you might want to give these questions a go. So pause here, give the questions a go for yourself, and don't let me talk you through them before you've even attempted them for yourself yet. So attempt them for yourself first, and then if you need to, you can come back and have a little watch. So let's just run through them here. So the first thing is to list the elements of the following set, and the first set is the numbers from 1 to 6. So again, if I'm listing them, I make sure I'm using my brackets. I put a comma between each element to distinguish them, and I close my bracket at the end. Even numbers less than 11, the first one obviously 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and prime numbers less than 10, well, we said the first prime number is 2, 3, 5, 7. And yeah, that's gonna be all. Okay. Then we're asked to say whether the following are true or false. The first one, 5EA, that means element. Okay, so we read that as 5 is an element of A, or 5 is in the set A. So we'll just look at it. Is 5 in the set A? It is, so that is true. The next one, the hash symbol means cardinal number. Okay, we can think of that as how many. So how many elements are in A? And this is saying that there are 7. By looking at it there, we can see there are only 6, so that is false. The next one here, another element symbol. 6 is an element of C. That just means is 6 in the set C? We look at set C there, 6 is not in it, so that one is going to be false also. The next one, 10, it's the same symbol as an element but with a line through it. So that means is not an element. So we read that out as 10 is not an element of C. 10 is not in the set C, and that does look to be true. The next one, cardinal number of B is 5. There are 5 elements in set B. That is also true. And lastly, 5 is an element of B. 5 is in the set B. That is false. Okay, so you can see how important it is to be certain of what those symbols stand for, and even just getting a bit of an understanding or familiarity there with how the symbols work, so the symbol becomes between the element and the set usually, and that's kind of the order that we read them in as well. So looking at question 2, we're kind of doing the opposite. We're filling in the gaps and putting in the appropriate symbol. So the set A is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Fill in the gaps of the following questions. So the first one, B something A. When I look at it there, I see that B is in the set A, so I want to say it is in the set, and the symbol for that is the symbol element. The next thing would be H something A. Well, H is not in the set, so I could use my symbol for that. So is not an element. The next one, the hash symbol, we remember means how many, so it's how many elements are in the set A, so I can count them there and I get an answer of 7. The next one here now, it is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, okay, and something A. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at a set that is not the same as A. So we're going to say that that set is not equal to A, because it's not equal, it's not the same set as we had. Next we have A something null set. So A there again is not the null set either, so we're getting some good use out of that not equals one. So A is not equal to the null set. And then lastly, A is an element of set A, of course. Okay, so really here, practice of our first 4 types of symbol here, really important, and we're going to get into our subsets then in the next one.